What's going on, everybody? Puck U is back after another wild night in the NHL. Panthers pull out a third period comeback. The Stars take it to the Avs. Overs everywhere. But before we get going over here, make sure you all smash that like button. Turn those notifications on. Subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. Les, how you doing today, brother?
Good morning, Bernsey. I'm not as good as you because I didn't get to witness that Florida comeback, which was probably pretty good, even though the first two periods did look like a little bit of a snooze fest. Third period definitely ramped up a bit. Florida was on the card. They were a 25-star, and I was a little sweating it a little bit, but they pulled through, and that's what this team does. Is they take 60 minutes to win a game sometimes, and that's why you got to play 60 minutes. And this Florida team is deep enough. They got the experience. They know what they're doing. They had a great game, a great third period. Bobrovsky was big when he needed to be big. And, they got the win. They got the win for the VIP. So we're green again. And we're going to be green again tonight. We got a big card going on with four games in the slot tonight. So we'll turn into that in a little bit.
The chat's going over there. Michael Wayne, he's got some Tampa tears going on. NYC born. He's already got his money line or his parlay locked in. He's got the over and the Kings in the Edmonton. Carolina money line. I don't know about that one, NYC. We'll get there. We'll get there, buddy. We may get just exactly what we need. We got the camo on tonight. We're ready for war down in Raleigh. But yeah, hell of a game. I saw two old ladies get into two separate fights. Both were Tampa trash. I mean, it was a hell of a game. Bit of a snoozer going into it, but it was kind of crazy. I mean, 4 of the goals were 10 seconds apart from each other. The Panthers, they get it up. Came back with Seth Jones. Where's he been all series? Well, he found his way, and he had a hell of a game. He was definitely very, very noticeable, but nobody was more noticeable to me in the stands watching this beast of this monster, this Aaron Ekblad. This guy was out for blood. He actually had 2 goals on the night. One was pulled back because of an offsides. He got the game-tying goal. He murdered Hagel. Hagel may be done for the rest of his life. Little forearm shiver in there. I did hear the league is looking at that, so he may face some sort of disciplinary. But it was a wild little game over in Sunrise. It was very, very, very good for me and my boy to sit there, and we're both lucky to have a voice this morning. And then a much wilder game took place in Dallas. 9 seconds into the game, Wyatt Johnson got his first off a weird no-angle cross ice through the crease pass, Hail Mary style. Then Dallas came back and had another goofy, flaky one that just hit Blackwood in the blocker, popped straight up in the air, fell behind him. And it was really, the Avs tried to come back in the second. They got 2 quick ones. They were down 3-2, and then it was just all Dallas from there. It was all gas. This is not the that I expected. Was not the game that I expected to go on in Dallas last night. Did you have a chance? It was a little bit of a later game, 9:30 start. Did you have a chance to watch this one, Les?
I caught the first period. I was happy to see Rantanen find the score sheet because a lot of question marks were arising about him and the roller coaster of a season he's had with almost every club in the NHL. But Dallas, yeah, we didn't really expect to see Dallas be skating with Colorado like they are. And I have Colorado going to the Stanley Cup Finals in my bracket. So if they fuck us, I'm going to be livid because I was actually looking up some stats. 15% of brackets had Colorado going to the Stanley Cup Finals and or winning the Cup. 15%, that's pretty freaking high given the fact that there's 16 teams in the dance. But nonetheless, it's not over till it's over. And this could come down right back down to game 7, which we kind of talked about and kind of expected at the same time. Mackenzie Blackwood, off night for him, gets the hook. I did call the bounce back Ottinger. He didn't have to be great, but he needed to be good. I think he had 28 shots or so. He did what he had to do to get his team the win. So we were right on that, saying that he would bounce back after getting the hook. For before, he had 26 saves. So big night for Ottinger and the Dallas Stars. That place was vibrant. I would love to go watch a game there, because I feel like, first of all, the tickets are like the second cheapest in the NHL for playoffs, and that atmosphere is pretty electric.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had to back Ottinger last night after the hate mail that we got from Mel in the chat, calling us a bunch of donkeys. but Otter came back. Otter held strong. Dallas with a 3-2 lead in the series, shifting back to Colorado to see if Colorado can stave off elimination and save a lot of those brackets, or maybe listen, if you want to look at something real quick, and then we'll get into tonight's games. I mean, what happens if Dallas does close this out in 6, right? So they've had some overtime victories, right? You can call those 50-50s, whatever. An absolute ship pumping last night. If they come through and they take home this series, you're looking at a very, very dangerous, very, very confident team walking through the West. That's only going to get healthier. Robertson should be ready for series 2 if they get there. Heiskanen should be ready as well. I mean, we'll see, but I mean, those are 2 monster additions, and those are really 2 of the biggest reasons, I think, why everybody was so high on Colorado walking into this series, because those are 2 big players that haven't played. I mean, you want to talk about a deadline deal? Imagine throwing these guys into round 2 against whoever that they face up with. I mean, that could be a very, very dangerous team, but Colorado's not dead yet. Nate Dogg has a lot to say about how this series is going to end shifting back home. So we will
see, though. Like, Nate Dogg can't do it himself, and Colorado is just not.
But God, has he been fucking trying, dude?
Oh, for sure. And maybe, I'm sure he's trying to lead by example, but you could see him yelling at Coyle on the bench last night. Something. I was trying to read his lips of. He's giving his teammates shit, and when you start seeing that, that's typically not a good sign. That's a sign of a team that's breaking down internally a little bit, and that's a concern if you're the Colorado Avalanche, when you start turning on each other and being verbal on the bench and not keeping your emotions in check. This is a little bit concerning. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, Colorado is a really good team at home, but Dallas loves to win in Colorado. I don't know if you look at the stats on it. Dallas, they walk into Colorado like they own the place, outside of, the other night where they lost 4-0, but typically they play really well in Colorado. So if Colorado has any fighting chance of getting out of the series, they need Brock Nelson going. They need Nichushkin going. They need more from the in-depth guys. Special teams need to be better. Cale Makar's been nowhere to be found. I mean, he's got a couple points, but nothing that exciting. He was -3 last game. He's just not the Cale Makar we're used to seeing. So you put all that together, and you get a Colorado team that's underachieving. And if they do get run out by the Stars in 6 or even 7, where does the Colorado Avalanche go from here? Like, you went and got Brock Nelson at the trade deadline. You moved Rantanen to get Nietzsche in like a weird, complicated kind of way, but it's the way it worked out. And it didn't work out, because you're looking at elimination at home in 6. Not that, it's not over till it's over, but the concerns are real, and the Colorado management team is definitely going to have their hands full this offseason if they run this series out and get eliminated first round.
Well, speaking about facing a first round elimination, NYC, I see your question, and I'm going to answer that for you, buddy. I see. How do you like Carolina and Toronto money line to end this series?
He wasn't asking you.
Oh, he was talking directly to me. He said, Burnsy, what's up with your fucking boys? And I'm going to tell you what's up with my fucking boys. They're coming. We're down. We're depleted. No Luke Hughes. No fucking problem. No Johnny Kovacevic. No fucking problem. No Brendan Dillon. We're good.
This is game 5, right? And you're down 3-1, right? Like, this isn't like a game 7 and you somehow got to game 7.
It will be. It will be. It all starts in tonight. Right before we went live, and you guys should hear the side conversations that we had before we actually go. It's fucking wild. But right before we got live over here, Wes broke the news. Freddie Anderson, I don't know if it's his head, his knee, his vagina, whatever it is, he ain't playing tonight. Carolina's going to Pyotr Kochetkov. And let me tell you, this guy has himself one hell of a playoff record that's going to be that the Devils are going to be facing tonight. Kochetkov, he has started 7 games in the playoffs. All right. Oh, I just had it. I'm looking at my other Devil stats. My bad, guys. Started 7 games in the NHL playoffs. He has a 4-1 record.
No.
No? You calling me fake news right now, bro?
What's his record?
1-4. Sorry. 1-4.
I don't even have the stat sheet, and I knew that was wrong. Jesus,
soon to be
get it together.
1-5. He has an 87 save percentage and way over close to 4 goals against. If the Devils are ever going to do anything, this really is a perfect storm for them to wake up. Now, Kochetkov took over the net halfway through. I think it was about halfway through. Maybe it was the third period of Game 4 in New Jersey. Devils got 2 quick ones. I understand it's a cold goalie coming in, but they got 2 quick ones off him. And then they just decided to just stop. Started getting real all these cross ice passes. I think the Devils need to stick to one game plan. I think they need to weather the storm because I think Carolina is going to be coming hot in the first period. So, we were kind of like mulling over maybe a little Carolina money line on the first period. If they can weather the first period and come out maybe down 1-0, and then it's all fucking gas, which is really how a lot of these games have gone, but the Devils have owned the second part of the game outside of game fucking 4. Fire the puck on net, put some traffic, put Timo Meier right in front of there. Shoot. Les, do you share my optimism in Raleigh tonight?
I do. And not because I like you. And it's not because I like the fucking Devils.
Actually, the exact opposite.
Yeah, because we all know where I stand on the Devils. If I'm going to lose a pick, it's because I picked the Devils. But nonetheless, that doesn't matter. But the reality of it is you have a young, inexperienced goalie being forced to step up. Now, the fact that he got a little taste and got a couple potted in on him quick last game, ugly one. That's sticking in recent memory for him. He's going to come into this game remembering that. Like, I bet you he would have much rather go in there, had 6 shots, 6 saves, and, pack our bags and get the hell back to Raleigh. But that wasn't the case. And this is a guy that doesn't play well in the postseason against a team that has their back up against the wall, as depleted as they are. I don't give a shit. Only losers make excuses. Winners find a way to win. Even if your superstars are out, fucking figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, well, then you're out. You're dead. But with that being said, free bet, lock it in. I'm taking the over because I don't trust Kochetkov to keep the Devils from scoring at least 3. Doesn't mean they're going to win because the Devils have their own issues defensively that allows 3 or 4 a game, as we've seen this entire series. Plus, we got to consider the empty nets, right? So if New Jersey's down by 2, if it's a 3-1 game, there's probably going to be a 5-minute left pull to try to get within 1, which is probably going to lead to a couple empty netters, if not a New Jersey goal. I do like the over in the spot because I don't trust Kochetkov. And I think that Jersey could play this game competitively, and I don't think it's going to be a landslide. I think Markstrom needs to have his best game of the series. And I also think, knowing that Freddie Anderson is out, that locker room is going to be a little bit more peppier, knowing that they're playing against an inexperienced Kochetkov, that they already got 2 past him, which is like you've only scored 2 goals or more once this series. So, and you did it against this guy. If I'm Sheldon Keefe, I'm going in that locker room and we're going to change the way we're playing for tonight. We're going to be trying to gain zones with possession. limit dumps, keep the puck away from him, get our feet moving, try to draw penalties. You these high chips all the time out. They're great. They're safe, but the problem with that is they turn the puck over. And if you don't have the puck, you're probably never going to get a penalty called on you, first of all, and you're not going to score goals. So New Jersey needs to possess the puck better, and they need to get it to the net and make life a living hell for Kochetkov. They got to get in his head early, ring one right by the ears upstairs, first fucking shift of the game. Let him know that we're coming for him. Maybe crash the net. Get them bowled over a couple times. That's what New Jersey's got to do. They got to play dirty like they used to play back in the 90s and stuff. They got to piss teams off, and they just haven't done a good job of it. But if I'm Sheldon Keefe, that's the message. Look at boys, we got nothing to lose because we have all the excuses in the world. If we lose, let's go out there and fucking wreak havoc, and let's just see what happens.
Danny in the chat says it's over for the Devils. I'll tell you, brother, it very well may be, right? I'll sit here and I'll pump my team up as much as I can, but I am a realist, right? I mean, it very well could be over for the Devs, but if the Devils are ever going to make one thing I will say, especially about hockey players. Now, I don't know how many of everybody follows the NBA playoffs, but what an effort last night by the Miami Heat. Hockey teams are not going to go out like that. We are not going to give up in the second. We are going to keep fighting all the way until that final buzzer goes off, and my guys are going to come. My guys are going to come heavy. So is it over for the Devils? It may be, but we're not going down without a fucking fight. I'll tell you that much, brother. A couple guys to keep an eye on in this game tonight. Seth Jarvis has really come out and has been an absolute force in this series. This guy loves playing at home. He's gotten at least 3 shots on goal in 66% of his home games. I mean, he's been all over the place. He gets a ton of ice time. He plays all 3 facets of the game. Timo Meier, if the Devils are going to have any sort of scoring the way that this series has gone, Timo's going to be on the score sheet. Nico's going to be on the score sheet, and Jesper Bratt's going to be on the score sheet because those are the only 3 that are contributing. So if the Devils have any shot in hell, you're going to have some secondary scoring from somebody. But I still see those big 3 finding their way some way, somehow, especially Jesper Bratt, who loves playing in Carolina. He's got 10 points in 10 games. I mean, I could definitely see this as a 4-2, a 4-2 Hurricanes win, but I could also see this as a 2-0 Devils win. I'm just saying, right? A little marquee shutout plus 1,500. Why not? Why not sprinkle a little bit on that? Why not?
Yeah. He had an 857 save percentage last game. But
you were all these fucking numbers, bro. You got to have some faith. Numbers don't count in the playoffs.
Shutout super likely. It's maybe he's like Ottinger, like last night. I said Ottinger would have a bounce back spot. Maybe this will be Markstrom's bounce back spot. And I mean, Markstrom's been good throughout this series. His numbers have been really good. You guys just can't score. So even with him letting in 2 goals a game, if you don't score more than 2, well, he gets the L and you don't fucking win. But he needs to have his best game of the series right now, which is going to be tough to do. I mean, he's made 27 saves 2 games in a row with a .926 save percentage, 28 saves last game with 4 goals against. So if the Devils want to do it, they need to have Markstrom going. It's simple as that. You need him to steal a game. And you can't count on it every night for your goalie to steal a game. But this is the time I think Markstrom's going to steal this game, Burnsy. I do think that it's going to be close.
Danny's asking if we're leaning under. We're going the opposite on that. Les actually thinks the over is going to hit here. So, you got the backup goalie across the crease. Devils are fighting for their life. These seeing-eye shots from the points have been the death of Markstrom in this series. Carolina's going to be throwing just as much traffic in front of them as much as Jersey should be, and hopefully is be. We'll see how this one goes. We'll see if the Devils can squeak one out here and push this back to Jersey for Game 6, where anything is possible in Jersey. No free ads right there. Speaking of it, moving on to another team that has their back against the wall on the brink of collapse. Senators in Toronto against the Leafs. Now, despite having a 3-1 lead in this series, it's not like Toronto with this core four that everybody likes to take care of. It's not like they have a great history of closing out series. Now, they're losing 12 of their last 13 opportunities to close out a playoff series. I'll be the first to admit, I feel like this is a different Leafs team this year than we've had so much joy watching collapse over the years. But what do you see tonight, Les?
It's been a confusing series for me because I expected a lot more shot suppression from the Leafs, and they just haven't got it. Like they're only averaging, outside of last game, they had 34 shots, but after that, they're averaging like 20 shots on goal. And if Linus Ullmark gets hot, and this guy has won a Vezina. He's been here before. He can steal a game for the Sens. And I thought he kind of did last game in Ottawa's first win. If it wasn't for Ullmark, that game would have been over. Now, here's the thing, though. Sure, the series is 3-1, but 3 out of the 4 games went to overtime. They don't get much closer than that. So for Toronto to be, a minus 165, it could be a little bit of a trap spot. Ottawa has owned Toronto in the regular season up until obviously game 1 and 2 where they've won, but they've been right in it. They got their backs up against the wall. They're playing desperate hockey. They're on the road. They like playing in Toronto. Your goalie's only gotten better. You look at his save percentage on game 1, 750, 857, 850, 912. This guy is getting better every game. The more you get to him, the better he gets. So what Ullmark are we going to see tonight? I can see this one coming down to the wire. I like Ottawa on the money line to make this interesting because Toronto, like you said, they have struggled closing out series. You look at Stolarz' numbers, they are depleted. They are dropping. Save percentages dropping. So it's going to be a good game. I'm really excited to watch this one, the Battle of Ontario. And it's nice to have this battle back because it kind of disappeared for the last 20 years when the Sens were rebuilding or fucking whatever it is or they call it. But don't write off the Senators just yet.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about Ullmark getting better as this series has progressed. He's not the only one gotten better for the Sens. We were talking early in the series, especially after that 6-2 fucking drubbing in game 1. But listen, it's game 1. Right, first time that Ottawa's been in the playoffs, so it's got to be everyone's running around. They had 33 shots on goal, right? Just everyone fired the puck at the net, right? Losing defensive assignments. They were brutal on the penalty kill, taking penalties out the ass. They took 6 penalties in game 1. They took 1 penalty in game 2, 4 in game 3, only 2 last game. Toronto has gotten a power play goal at least in all of these games here, but as great as Stolarz has been, or at least started as, he gave up 2 goals in game 1, 2 goals in game 2, 2 goals in game 3, now 3 in game 4. His numbers have gone have they not? You still have those numbers in front of you?
Ullmark's? Yeah.
No, Stolarz.
Oh, Stolarz. Yeah. I have that right here too. It's my screensaver right now because I have a theory about this and I'm sticking to it. So he's dropped off. He started off 939 save percentage, 2 goals against, 929 save percentage, 2 goals against, dropped down to 900, which is barely the league average, 2 goals against. Last game, Bernsey, 810, 4 goals against. Now, we're analytic type of people. And this is what we do. We study this shit. And this is why we make money gambling on it, because this is what we have. Do you see a trend here? Because I do. And these numbers are going down. So either Toronto isn't playing as well defensively, which I still think they are. They're playing pretty well defensively. They're not giving up a ton of options. Or Stolarz is getting fucking tired. This is a guy that has never played this much hockey before. He's never been the number 1 guy in the NHL. Never mind for the Toronto fucking Maple Leafs. one of the biggest franchises in the NHL, and you're the poster boy between the pipes. He has some playoff experience, but he's never played like this before. And then on the flip side, you got Allmark, who has all kinds of it, right? A lot older, has gone deeper in the playoffs. Was he with Boston when he won a cup a few years back? I thought so. So this is a guy that is going to get better because he has that experience, and Stolarz doesn't. And he didn't look himself last game. And the numbers show for it, but is this going to be one of those spots where Stolarz lays an egg tonight and maybe gets lit up for 4 and 4 on 21 shots for like a 750 save percentage, and that's going to force Toronto to make a judgment call going back to Ottawa, because that's the last thing you want to fucking do. You're at home. You need to take care of business at home. And as bad as Toronto is at doing that, I feel like this is a trap spot. I am not underestimating the Ottawa Senators tonight at all. I think Brady Tkachuk is going to have the game of his series tonight, and he needs to. I found him to be a little bit non-existent in this series. I'm sure he's probably nursing something still, but he hasn't been his usual self. And, he needs to step up with that C on and bring his team up. And Allmark needs to have the game of his series. But I don't know if I'm trusting Stolarz tonight. So with that all being said, you could be looking at as another prop bet, just pulling the number now, the under saves for Stolarz. It's 24.5. I think it's very possible that he doesn't get there. He hasn't gotten there in the last 2 games. And it could be one of those nights for him where it just doesn't work out. I don't know. I got a weird feeling. I look at the numbers, and the numbers tell me that it's not going to be a good night for him. Doesn't mean it won't be, but the numbers suggest that fate is catching up with him. He might be getting tired. Maybe he's a little banged up. Whatever it is, he has gotten worse as this series has gone on.
Listen, I know it's a cliche, right? But hockey players are full of cliches. All they do is they live and they die by cliches. But the hardest one to win in a 7-game series is the 4th one. So you want to talk about an upstart Ottawa team who wants to bring this shit back, wants to drag them back to Ottawa. They're going to be giving Toronto everything they can handle. And because all those emotions are high and everyone's going to be running around with their backs against the wall and they know that there is no tomorrow, you either win today or you're golfing tomorrow, it could blow up in their faces. But, I mean, it's not like Toronto is like this shut down. We're going to take this. The numbers are the numbers. The records are the records. It is what it is, and it be what it be. So, you talked about Brady Tkachuk. He got off to a slow start in this series. Since then, he's recorded 3 points in consecutive games, including 2 power play contributions. One guy who will definitely, if the Maple Leafs are going to be pulling this through, is obviously Austin Matthews. He 10 shot attempts in game, right? Recording 2.5 expected goals in the series. I could definitely see Austin Matthews finding the score sheet as an ATG plus 120. And keep an eye on Tkachuk. I mean, he is the engine that drives that train. So you can catch him on an over 0.5 point and maybe around minus 130. So it's going to be a hell of a night in front. I mean, hide your kids, call your wife, tell them that you're not coming home tonight. Post up in front of that TV, and let's make some fucking money here. All right. Moving on to another wild, no pun intended, wild series. The Wild against the Golden Knights.
Good one. Good one, Birdsey. You got it.
Now, the Golden Knights.
Did you write that one? You scripted that, didn't you?
What happens when you got 2 kids, man? You come up with all the good shit.
Now,
all the momentum has shifted in Vegas's favor. Secured a dramatic 4-3 overtime victory with an Ivan Barbashev overtime winner. I mean, this was a series that really looked like Minnesota had control it. And it was possibly the first series that they were going to win in 10,000 years. They haven't seen the second round in a long, long time. But game 5, slipped right through them. They had the 3-1 lead. Now it's 3-2. Or they could have had the 3-1 lead. Now it's all evened up for game 5, 2-2. Series shifting back at the rails on, man. Shifting back to Vegas, which is never an easy place to play. How do you see this guy going tonight?
Honestly, I have been very, very impressed with Philip Gustafsson. That guy has been getting peppered every fucking night, and he's done a great job. He didn't have a great game 1, but he has been absolutely sensational since. Every game he's gotten at least a 913 save percentage, even though he's given up 4 goals in the last game. He had 46 saves, Burnsy. That's the kind of goaltender you're going to need if you want to win, especially if you're the Minnesota Wild. You're not as deep. You're not quite as good as the Vegas Golden Knights. That's a tough rink to play. We've already smashed the over on Gustafsson a couple times. I'm just looking at it now. Right now, it's sitting at 27.5. It's actually plus money for 27.5. And you know what? I really don't see any reason why we shouldn't be taking this, because the Vegas Golden Knights have done a really good job of shooting the puck, and they're in their home barn and they love to play at home. So I wouldn't put too much on it. I typically stay away from props that are that high, 27.5 area. But because it's Vegas and in Vegas and the amount of saves that he's had, I wouldn't mind playing a little even money or better at 27.5 Philip Gustafsson, Burnsy. I think it gets there. And you know what? We could see another dramatic overtime game, which helps our save prop. Like last game. So you got to count on some OT games when you're considering save props, because they do happen. And sometimes these OTs go a long time. And next thing you know, there's 40, 50 shots on goal for each side. So definitely something to consider. I really think Matt Boldy is really carrying the Wild here right now. And, obviously Kaprizov is doing his thing. I'd like to see a little bit more from Eriksson Ek. I've found he's been kind of quiet this series so far, but if Boldy and Kaprizov keep doing what they're doing, they might single-handedly make this series really fucking interesting.
Now, it's been a battle of the special teams for sure as far as Vegas goes, and their 2 win. They've gone 4 for 7 on the power play over in their losses. Minnesota's penalty kill is going to need to step up and neutralize that Vegas man advantage. You talk about Boldy, you talk about Kaprizov. I mean, they've just been playing out of their fucking minds, single-handedly dragging Minnesota along. I mean, they were that close to having a 3-1 series lead. Now, Danny in the chat, he wants to know real quick. Anton, what up, brother? Welcome to the show. Danny wants to know, how important is home ice in the NHL compared to the NBA and the NFL? Now, if I'm not mistaken, you've been to a Golden Knights game, have you not?
Yes, and that place is awesome. And that was a regular season game. It was actually against Yager back in the days, the Florida days. I thought that was pretty neat because, you don't know how long you're going to get to see that guy play. But home ice advantage, it's one of those things because you think, oh, you're playing at home, you're going to win. Well, that hasn't been the case in the Tampa-Florida series where the visiting team won the first 3 games. But on the flip side, it also has been the case for a lot of these dog teams where St. Louis took care of business at home. Winnipeg took care of business at home. So you do have an edge. You're more comfortable playing at home. You're obviously not traveling, so your legs are a little fresher. You're sleeping in your own bed, that sort of thing. So you definitely have an advantage. But the biggest advantage, it's not about all that. It's the real hockey advantage is last change. And if you're the coaching staff, you want the matchups you get the last change when you're at home. And that is so important when you're matching lines, especially at key moments of the game. Offensive zone faceoffs, you need, really good line matching ability. You can do that when you're at home. On the road, you can't do that. You get the matchup, it is what it is. And you hope that, your fourth line is stuck out there on an icing call and, they put their first line out. You hope that they can get the job done and get a change. To me, I think there's always a little bit of an advantage at home. However, it's not everything.
It's not everything, but it does take an advantage when you decide going out onto a face-off who you get to line up. Like you said, like you never want to have your fourth line stuck out there, because any good coach is going to be throwing their first line out there. And those matchups make everything. So I mean, it's going to be a wild night in Vegas. If I had a gun against my head, I mean, I think this is going to be a tight fucking game. A lot of goals are scored in this series. Vegas won game 1, 4-2, 5-2 in game 2 for the Wild, 5-2 in game 3, 4-3 OT victory for Vegas. So the over has cashed in every single game this series. So I think a lot of offense is going to be scored, but it's funny because when you think about Vegas and especially the success that they've had, you always look at their D and their big monster of men that always shut down everything in front of them. But when you have guys like Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov coming flying down and a big body like Matt Boldy, who doesn't give a fuck in front of that net, trying to bang in every sort of rebound that he can. I mean, it's pause it up, buddy. This is hockey. This is how it goes. But it's going to be hard, man. It's going to be real hard. I could see Vegas winning this, obviously. They have the last change. They're at home. Minnesota's unproven. But I wouldn't be shocked if Minnesota pulls out and gets ahead in this series here.
I agree with you for sure, because the other thing is can Gustafsson maintain this hot goaltending that he's been doing? He's typically not a guy that can run consecutive games plus 920 save percentage. So I do have some concerns there. Eventually I think Vegas solves them, and I think Vegas solves them in their own rank where they're the most comfortable and they have the second best home record. I think they got Gustafsson's number, but could be wrong. He could be stellar again. Hard to say. We'll see.
Yeah, Gustafsson's another guy very similar to Freddie Anderson in Carolina, where they're very injury prone. They are hurt a lot. It's a rarity to see them finish an entire season. I mean, obviously he had his injury. I think Klotz this year, or was that the year before? But he missed about 25, 30 games this year. And we kind of talked about this before we went on Cam today. But you had a really good point about these goalies. Now, is in the regular season, outside of somebody like Connor Hellebuyck, who I think it was 68 starts, maybe even more. Like that shit is just unheard of these days. Not since like back in the olden days where Marty Brodeur was starting 72 of 82 fucking games. It just doesn't happen. Usually every third game you swap it out. Now we're playing every other night, maybe sprinkle one more night in there for a travel game. But I mean, is Gustafsson the type of goalie to take a look at and be like, is he going to have enough juice to come through for Minnesota tonight?
So I think it depends on the team. And I mean, if Mark Fleury's on your bench, you're probably a little bit more hesitant to put him in, given his age and the whole farewell tour. It's like the longest, most dramatic thing I've ever seen. But I get it. He's a future Hall of Famer. Love the guy. Everybody loves him, and that's it. But my concern is exactly that. You don't play 60 games anymore. And then come playoff times, like, okay, you're a guy. You need to start every game. If every series goes to 7, you're going to probably play 28 games. Like, well, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I didn't do it in this regular season. It's playoffs. It's more stressful. There's way more on the line. I'm probably going to have less rest because you just told me I'm starting every game versus the regular season. The backup goalie knows when he's going next. I know when my day off is because I look at the schedule. Oh, okay. He's playing Thursday I'm playing Sunday, whatever. Perfect. Great. Now I know. But now you're getting these goalies getting hurt. How many goalies have been hurt now? And just, we're not even through the first fucking round yet. And look at the injuries on the goalies. What do we got? We got Anderson, Montembeault, Lindgren was hurt, but still Thompson, sorry, but still managed to play. But he got pulled. He left the game with an injury. That's 3 goalies already that have sustained injuries. And how are you expecting these guys to go deep into the playoffs, like with playing every night? The way I see it, and you look at the Toronto series, for example, you look at the numbers for Ottawa. Allmark's been your guy. He's gotten better as this series has gone on. Okay, I'm going to probably ride with him, assuming he's healthy enough, he's comfortable. That's a conversation that needs to happen between coaching and the player. But you look at, on the flip side, Toronto, we just talked about Anthony Stolarz and his decreasing ability to stop the puck over the last several games now. And this is a guy that doesn't have a ton of experience, and you have Joseph Woll sitting on the bench. If Toronto's going to go deep in this thing, they need to rotate goalies at some point. You gave up 4 goals last night, Stolarz. All right, I'll tell you what. Take the night off. Woll, you're going next game. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You need to manage your minutes for the goalies because you can't count on them to come in and get 16 wins on their own. It doesn't happen often. They get pulled. They get hurt. Just confidence, tired, overworked. Why are we not cycling goalies more in the playoffs instead of just running with one goalie? Unless he's putting up a goose egg every night or, one goal against, just outstanding, outrageous numbers like a Jean-Sébastien Giguère back in the day where I think he was on.
You got to bring that shit up for, dude.
Hey?
What do you got to bring that shit up for, dude?
Well, he went on like a
my fucking Conn Smythe away from Marty Brodeur. Get the fuck out of here with that guy.
But look at his numbers. His numbers were absolutely stellar. So, yeah, that guy, you're starting. But that's what I mean. It doesn't happen. That's the whole point. It doesn't happen. So I really believe that things are going to start to change. Look at Hellebuck. He's gotten hooked twice. Sure, you played 62 games in the season. All right, now you got to go play another 30? What? No. First of all, he should have never played 62 games in the fucking season. You won the league by a landslide, and you went out and put him in game 82. Why? Why? Fucking idiots. I don't understand it. And now look at them. So if the Jets lose this series, does this prove my point?
When I get my GM next year, I don't know if you live over in New Jersey, but when I become a GM, 100%, I will be doing a goaltending by committee on my march to the Stanley Cup. I do think that you have some absolute validity there. It's like one of those old school mentalities of like, oh, well, we're not going to do it because it's never happened before. So could it be a little load management, keeping these guys fresh? I mean, I don't know. We'll see. What's going on, Will? Welcome over to the chat. Will said that he hit his own little DGen parlay the other day with the Blues on the money line as well as the Wild. My man, pots and pans, way to be in there, kid. All right, moving to
I don't know what Doobie Maine is talking about, but he's got Montreal winning tonight, Burnsy. And last time I checked, Montreal doesn't fucking play. So, Doobie, you might want to check that card and get your shit straight.
He's got a future on tomorrow, right? He's got keep some good vibes going for Doobs, man. He'll hit that one.
All right.
Except for the Carolina part, you might want to switch that out to NJD, but whatever, man. All right, moving on to our last game tonight. All right, speaking of
it auto-corrected. It auto-corrected NJ to Carolina.
Fuck you, Siri. All right, talking about sus goaltending. Not just goaltending, but where is the defense? We're shifting back to LA tonight where the Oilers come in. Now, the Oilers won, thrilling OT victory with Draisaitl scoring the game-winning goal. Now, this guy, on top of Connor McJesus, have combined to 18 points in this series. They're only at game fucking 5. Now, I mean, this has really been a weird fucking series for sure. I mean, the harmonicas will be back out for the national anthem, I'm sure, tonight for LA, which should guarantee them a win. So if you want to wait till puck drop, take a look at the national anthem. If you see some Korean ladies singing the national anthem on their harmonicas, hammer LA. If not, if they switch it up for whatever reason, might want to take a look at Edmonton. Now, we talked about McJesus and Draisaitl, 18 points. Edmund Bouchard, the best and the worst defenseman in the entire league. I heard a crazy stat that he is number 2 all time with points per game in the playoffs as a defenseman, right behind number 4, Bobby Orr. I mean, he's got 7 points in this series, but it's hard to argue, the home ice advantage here for the Kings. I mean, they've won game 1, they won game 2, game 3, game 4. They gave Edmonton all that they can handle. They were in control, but they forgot you got to play 3 periods of hockey. How do you think Game 5 is going to shape out with these guys?
So I think this is a funny stat. Bouchard, right? He's gotten 2 goals in the last 2 games. Each of the last 2 games, he had 3. He had 3 assists. He has been +1 once. Okay. Typically, when you score 2 goals in a game, you're probably finishing at worst even. At worst. Nope. Last game, -1. I mean, he's on for 35 minutes a game. So I guess you're obviously going to be bound to get on the dark side of the minus column. And no, not that plus minus is everything. I just find it interesting because, he is arguably the worst defenseman. That is the best defenseman in the NHL. And that is confusing to a lot. But anybody that knows anything about hockey will understand what I mean. It's a good thing he's producing offensively, because if I'm the defense coach and he's not doing anything offensively, you're not playing, because you're just turning the puck over. You're so soft. You're not strong in the puck. You make some poor decisions in your end, and you're on the ice for a lot of goals against. Now, but you want to talk about being on your heels. The LA Kings have got to feel a little bit of pressure here, Birdsy. And the reason why is because they have blown it twice now. They did a shitty coach's challenge. And then Quentin Byfield, all he had to do is chip the puck out.
Hell of a player, though. Hell of a player.
All you have to do is chip the puck out. And you didn't get it done. 30 seconds, Edmonton does what Edmonton does, and they score in big moments like this, and then they end up losing the game. So tough string of events for LA. I really like the look of this LA team, though. I mean, when they fall asleep, they fall asleep. But every team does that at random points of the game where they're just nowhere to be found. With that being said, though, this is a really good team at home. And I could see this being another shootout. This could be another 6-5 kind of game, because there's just so much scoring power on both sides. The over has cashed every single game so far in this series.
And way over.
Not even close. Over is cashed in the second almost.
So it started after game 1. The over-under was set at 5 for 5.5. Game 2 and 3, it shot up to 6. Game 4, 6.5. And it's not even close.
Not even close. And you know what? A lot of this goal scoring is coming in the third period. So if you want to take a live bet when that third period rolls around, take the over goals, whatever the line is at the time, because you're probably going to see 2 or 3. 100%. And now you got to give both these goalies a little bit of credit, though. Even though, let's figure this one out. Okay, there were 7 goals last game. Both goalies had over 900 save percentages. Both goalies had an over 917 save percentage. So these guys are getting fucking peppered.
89 shots on goal.
Yeah.
I know it went to OT, but 89 shots on goal.
And you look at the Edmonton Oilers in that overtime, they completely dominated that overtime. I'm really starting to wonder if Edmonton's starting to find their swing. right now. They didn't look good in game 1 and 2. They went home and, they took care of business, and I thought they played pretty well. They're just getting better. And if Calvin Pickard, right now it's his net. Stuart Skinner is not going to get the start if Calvin Pickard keeps playing the way he has. And on the flip side, even Darcy Kemper, he's got great numbers. His numbers have been really good outside of, that 7-4 win, but he still had 35 saves. That's a lot of fucking saves. And you're going up against one of the most highest powered offenses in the NHL. So I kind of give props to both these goalies. Pickard wasn't really expecting to play at all. He's sipping, his warm chamomile tea on the bench, and then Skinner lays egg after egg. Is like, all right, well, put the tea down. You're gonna have to go and try to get hit by the little black things. So whatever he did, don't do that. Get in the way of it. It's pretty easy. It's not easy, but Calvin Pickard has done a good job answering the bell. And it's a good fucking thing, because if I'm Chris Knobloch and Pickard didn't answer the bell, what are you doing? Are you calling up Jack Campbell?
Remember that guy.
So, I mean, I'm excited for this game. It's been a good series. I'm expecting a lot of high danger opportunities. And if you can get this line at 6, it's actually, it's 6 on some sports books, but the big ones, it's 6.5 right now. I still would play the over. I mean, it's until something changes, and I don't know if LA switches back to their 1-2-2 style of play like they did last year to try to manage the scoring against right now, then I don't think that's feasible. So I see this being another high scoring game. Draisaitl and Bouchard probably getting on the score sheet. That's what they do. But the problem is their prop bets are probably like over 3 points a game now, because it's just been so ridiculous. So, maybe look at Corey Perry. That guy's been everywhere around the net.
Ageless Corey Perry.
He's got a couple good looks now. In Zach Hyman, when is he going to start contributing more on a regular basis? So I would be looking more at a Hyman and a Corey Perry kind of situation for me right now. If you obviously want to roll with the big guns and parlay them all together, the Draisaitl, Bouchard, McDavid, over a point or whatever the line is, that may not be a terrible play.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in the chat is just screaming over. I mean, game 1, 11 goals, game 2, 8, another 11 hung up in first game in Edmonton. Only 7 last game in OT. I mean, it's just crazy, because in this, you see an LA team that puts together, 2 periods of hockey where they are just looking far and away the better team, right? They're up outside of game 3. They're up. And then all of a sudden, Edmonton, who you want to talk about a fucking team that doesn't know what the word quit means. McJesus just puts these guys on his back and says, no, we're not done. And willing them back into these games. I mean, even game 1, although LA won 6-5, I mean, they were up 5-2, I believe it was, and blew a third period. I mean, 3 of the 4 games, they've blown leads in the third period. So it's crumbling in the third period. You're right, Alex. I mean, even their coach, who said it? Wapa Calypso, sorry, whatever your name is, it says Knobloch has been out coaching Hiller hard. Hiller in the press conference after game 4 was a little snarky, didn't really like the questioning coming at him as far as, hey, what do you guys have to do? And it was listen, it's a real straightforward question, right? What do you guys have to do better in the third period to close out games? And this guy was like, well, I mean, I'm open for suggestions since you know fucking everything. Like, bro, tell me your feelings are hurt without telling me your feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
Lock it down, man. Keep your foot on the gas. You're keeping Edmonton hemmed into their own end for 2 periods, and all of a sudden, what? All right, everybody, no more offense. We scored enough. Not the case, man. There are no such thing as a safe lead when you have Connor McJesus on the other side and Draisaitl, who could score from any fucking part of the ice. So Danny said they just bring in Dion and Shador. Yeah, that'll do it. I don't know, man. I mean, I think this game obviously can go either way. It's just two high-powered teams that don't like to play defense. We'll see how it goes. Smash the fuck out of that over. Throw that in every single parlay that you can even think of, and you probably won't miss out on that. I definitely don't see this being a 3-2 tight game. Goals. And somebody who's been loving scoring in this series outside. I mean, obviously, listen, you want to look at McJesus, you want to look at Draisaitl, right? And Perry, Bouchard, cool, awesome. Those are the easy ones. What about Adrian Kempe? Now, this is a guy who is averaging almost 2 points per game against Edmonton this entire season. So it's not just a small sample size. I mean, he's averaging 1.74 points per game. Over a point, he's gotten in 70% of his last 10. I mean, this guy has just been automatic playing outside of his brain. What do you like about Adrian Kempe tonight?
No, exactly. He has stepped up, and he's done everything and more of what the LA Kings could ask from him. Kopitar's winding his career down, and I can definitely see Kempe filling that leadership role down the road. Like, that's how good this guy is. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's a tough game to handicap because it's so open. You got two really good teams going at it. What is, in my opinion, a must-win for LA. I think this is a must-win for LA. I think if LA loses this game, the series is over. Yeah. So then the curse continues. So what would be 5 years in a row? 4 years? 5? What? I
think this is the fourth.
Is it fourth? 4 years in a row that you struggle to get past Edmonton. And really, this is their best shot. They went and got Kemper. He's been good. They loaded up with, Byfield, and, they changed their systems to more aggressive, more offense, and that's paid dividends. They have the second best home record in the NHL, or maybe the best. I can't remember now, but you need to bear down and play a 60-minute period, 60-minute game. And I know that's easier said than done, but your bad shifts need to still be okay. You can't be that bad. You can't have those mental mistakes. But even the coaching has made it, and the review team with that coach's challenge that didn't go their way, like that. They usually don't get these things wrong. They called a timeout before they decided, so they had an extra long. This wasn't a snap decision. Exactly, they had an extra long time to look at this. 100%. So there was no reason why they got that wrong. They got probably 12 donkeys up in the press box reviewing it, plus 6 more reporting to them. Like that, they should have got that right, and it ended up costing them. And not that it cost them every game, because it doesn't happen. Sometimes you can squeak out a wrong call and not get nailed to the cross for it. But in this case, that's what Edmonton does. And you got to remember, these guys were just in the Stanley Cup Finals, 10 months ago. They know what it feels like to win. And if you think these guys are going to roll over and play dead, even though this isn't the same lineup, and I get that, this is still a really good hockey team. So it's going to be a good game. I'm excited. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a ton of prop options that you can go with here. I mean, just like even looking, so it's like a tale of two teams. Obviously, you have McJesus and you have Draisaitl scoring everything for Edmonton. I mean, LA has 3-line scoring here, right? You got Byfield in the middle of Fiala and Lafrere, right? You're the French guy. How do you say that?
Lafrere.
You got Deneau, Trevor Moore, and Fogle. All of that found the score sheet. And obviously Kopitar, Kempe, and Kuzmenko, who has been just lights out. I mean, I can't say anything more than goals. Do that with what you want. All right, so those are the 4 games that we have going on. Let's get to my favorite part, or almost my favorite part, because I'm a DGen and I want to get to that parlay. But what are we looking at after everything we talked about as our best bet of the show today?
Oh, to pick one. There's so many good things out tonight compared to last night. I couldn't find a ton of value. Hence, there's only one item on the VIP card. But tonight, there's just so many possibilities. I'm going to go with the over in the New Jersey game. I think Kochetkov changes this up, and I think New Jersey gets 3 on the board tonight. So the over 5.5 for plus money. That's got to be probably one of my favorite over-unders tonight outside the 6.5. But again, I don't love 6.5 for Edmonton either, even though they're everything we just said. Let's roll with the Devils and Canes over 5.5.
So you're telling me it's going to be a 6-0 Devils victory tonight. Markstrom hosting the plus 1,500 shutout. NYC born. Eat a dick, brother. Carolina's not bringing it home tonight. It is all NJD. All right, moving on to the D-Gen parlay. Let's put together 4 plays that we can bring it home for. So we've been a little cold on the D-Gen. We missed the last 3. We started off with a bang, hitting the first one. We got to right the ship here. What are we looking at tonight for a D-Gen parlay?
So first of all, hitting a 4-legger is no easy task. I don't care how good you are. 4-leggers are tough to hit. So be smart when you're betting on these, very, very small units when you're betting on these, multi-leg parlays.
Pizza money parlay, guys. This is just fun stuff that we do.
Yes, but it
no mortgage is getting risked over here.
Yeah, it has to be said though. Like, I don't want you betting your mortgage payment on a 4-legger and hope that you strike it rich overnight. That's not how this system is designed. We win by unit sizing and structure, and we're up, $70,000 or whatever this NHL season because of the unit sizing and managing that bankroll. So be smart about it. I gotta go with the Knights to take care of business at home for my leg 1.
Knights on the money line. All right, let's go every other here. What I like the most here tonight is I like Adrian Kempe finding the score sheet again. This guy does not miss. So I'm going Adrian Kempe over a 0.5 point. Not a goal, not an assist. Taking it easy. We're going to have plus money at the end of this anyway. We're going over a point.
I got to go back to my man Faithful and Sebastian Aho over a point. He's just been, that point per game guy that, he has been for year over year. So, and he's had a good playoff so far. Carolina has been scoring 4 to 5 goals a game. So, he's probably going to get involved with it if they do that again.
Yeah, but aren't you kind of screwing these guys when Markstrom posts a shutout tonight? I mean, come on, bro. Give these guys.
Notice how Markstrom, the shutout prop wasn't on my D-Gen side. If you want to put it,
leg yet. I haven't given my 4th leg yet.
Oh God, please don't do it. Because then it's going to lose. Then you can't do that. Aho to get a point, but Markstrom to get a shutout. Lock it in.
All right, my last leg. I'm going back with my old faithful. This was in our first D-Gen parlay, which smashed actually quick. Jesper Bratt.
I knew it.
You know me so well.
Yeah, I knew it. What, get a Hattie to?
No, it's just 7. It's over 7 goals. Jesper Bratt.
Just
no big deal.
In his life.
All right, let me post this up for the
fellas. The Devils scored 7 goals all series yet? I don't think
they're at 6 so far. They're at 6. Tonight we go over that.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we got Vegas on the money line. We got Adrian Kempe over points. Sebastian Aho over a 0.5 point. Jesper Bratt over a 0.5 point. We gave out some likes. We gave out some leans. Best bet of the show. Carolina NJD over 5.5 goals. 6-0 Devils victory. Ottawa
6-1.
We like on the money
Aho
line
to get a point. 6-1.
Yeah, 6-1. All right, fine. Fuck my plus 1,500. We like Ottawa on the money line. Stollers under 24.5 saves. Strong possibility of getting the hook in this game tonight. I agree with you, man. I think Ottawa's going to come out and give Toronto everything that they can handle. So we'll see. We got 4 games to look forward to tonight. ton of great hockey. Thank you guys very much for joining us today. Again, make sure you guys like that, smash that likes button, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Les, any closing words?
Another winning night for the VIP last night, Bernsey. We only had the one game on the card, but hey, you can't force bets, especially this time of year. If there's nothing that sticks out, we're gonna keep our cards smaller, but doesn't mean they're any weaker. So another big night last night. We have been running pretty hot coming off the weekend. We're looking to continue to push that forward. So if you want to know where I'm laying the money tonight, head on over to the Telegram. You can pick up the rest of the playoffs for $100. We're really trying to push for our $100,000 profit goal still. We're 3/4 of the way there. We got a couple months left of hockey left. Come and join me, be a part of the VIP team, and start scoring with NHL Ylose, baby. Let's do it.
Appreciate you guys in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been Puck You, brought to you by the great folks over at ylose.com. Make sure you get over to ylose.com for everything sports handicapping that you could possibly need. Head up by the Godfather J.A. Cavalier, the Coach Rick Bo, Luke Shuey, the Prop Master, Graham the Shark Sheesby, Neil Mack for soccer, and good old Punchy for combat. I'm Mike Burns. That's Les Victory. We'll catch you guys back over here tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to go live at 2 o'clock. Make sure we see you here. Till then, enjoy the puck.
Cut my life into pieces.